Well, hello, friends. Welcome back. It's Wednesday evening. Sure enough, just like clockwork, we're here meeting up on Zoom in cyberspace. Oh, yeah. That's where everybody's hanging out these days. Glad you could join us. Hey, if you want to come on into the Zoom call here, it's easy. Let's go to the Shower Door Pros page on Facebook and click on the link. Come on in, and we'll chat, talk about shower doors and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. I always learn something new, which is really incredible. You know, I mean, how many places can you go to learn something new about the shower door business on a Wednesday evening? Not many, I'll tell you, not many. This is one of them. So what's going on out there, guys? Anything new and exciting? Anything interesting happening out there?
Anybody else dealing with new rounds of COVID coming through in the businesses or area?
No.
I heard some rumors about something. I don't know.
It's revisited us.
They have, I guess they have some color coding, you know, like, and I heard it's orange, whatever that means. So it's like, yeah, if somebody didn't tell me, I wouldn't know. It's like if actually, if you don't watch the news, there actually is there actually is no pandemic.
No.
Yeah, there's people out there, those what do you call them? Midianites, whatever, Amish people. They're fine. They don't have a TV. Me and Tim were just talking a minute ago about scratched glass. He was just talking about he's been having kind of a little run of scratched glass coming into the shop. And I've noticed, I'll go a long time without really getting any glass that's damaged. And then when the damaged glass starts coming in, it's like it seems to come in a run, and probably it's a new tire or something like that. They've got some new guy or gal in the plant there moving stuff around, and maybe they're wearing.
Now, when you guys get your glass, does it come totally wrapped?
No.
It's just corners and buttons?
It's all buttons.
Okay.
But these scratches I got, I mean, they weren't little dinky ones. It was like racking a piece of glass and hit it with a corner. I mean, they were deep scratches.
Mine depends on who I'm getting it from. Some come wrapped, some don't.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like I'll get a piece of glass in that's like got a scratch or chip or something, and I'll send it back. I work with Overcast mostly, and they're really good about that. I mean, all I have to do is just say, "Hey, this glass is damaged," and they're remaking a new one, trying to get it out to me the next day. I mean, they're very, very responsive, which is awesome. What I'll find is it seems like something will come out wrong, and they'll remake it, and it'll be wrong again, and they'll remake it, it'll be wrong again, and it's weird. I don't know. It's just some kind of a strange mojo that gets on the glass, and that one particular piece, everything else will be right. They'll keep remaking the same one wrong.
That's what happened.
We call it a mistake on a mistake.
Yeah. It's just like compounding interest or something.
That's why we fabricate our own glass and temper our own glass.
Yeah.
Chris, you mentioned Oldcastle, and it was funny because when we were buying from everybody, trying them all out, we were insisting that everybody wrap their glass. And Oldcastle was like, no, this is a bad idea because wrapping the glass is what puts the scratches on it. And we're like, what are you talking about? Until we went and we toured their plant, and that plant was so dirty and their glass was so dirty that they were then just wrapping the dirt all around, and that wrap was just, and we're like, man, try cleaning it and then wrap it.
Wow.
Great. Plant to
No
plant.
kidding.
Yeah. You never know, plant to plant, I definitely say tour every plant that you go to. You can get such a sense of what they do and why they have issues when they do.
Chris, does your Oldcastle location hold you to a 48-hour window?
No, they don't. I mean, I probably shouldn't say this like publicly or whatever, but no, I think there is that rule. But I mean, we've got just a great relationship. I've been a customer for a long time, and they know that I'm always trying to work with them. I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but a real good rule of thumb is like, if I get a piece of glass in and it's got a little bit of damage, but it's something that I think I can sell, and it's not like 100 miles away, right? I'll contact them and say, hey, there's this damage here, or this is not quite right, but I think I can sell it. So I'm going to try to do that, but I just want to let you know so that I'm, within the window of time, that if they do reject it, I'm going to come back and ask you to remake it. And I think doing that really kind of generates some goodwill, with the vendor, because they know I'm on their team, and it's not like me against you, and trying to prove that you're the bad guy and I'm the good guy or whatever. A little bit of that goes a long way, and 9 times out of 10 they never hear about it again, because I'll go sell it, because it's a little scratch and it's down low where no one's going to really notice it. I'll do that. If there's a scratch and it's right at eye level, it's a shower door, I mean, come on, there's no way.
No.
There's no way I'm going to get away with that. Or a chip, it's the same thing. If there's just a little chip on the edge, even if it's small, if it's right at eye level, I mean,
I think they did a study. I think 90% of scratches are right in this range right here on shower doors, right in the customers. They're never down in the corner hidden. They're always right there. What do you guys use for scratch removal?
Well, that's kind of funny. When we were having problems with scratches from Cardinal, they gave us a scratch removal kit. We're like, really? This is the answer. Yeah, but then we got our own. We use the Glassweld. I think that's the company. Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, it took a while. I mean, we had to get someone who was really good at it, and mostly good at evaluating whether or not they could get the scratch out in the first place, within an amount of time, is it worth it? Isn't it worth it? And before that, I mean, like Chris was saying, it's like, well, if we try and buff this scratch out, then you're not going to take it. And if we end up with like a fisheye or something, then you're going to say it's on us. So it's a tough one.
Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, that's so important. Like what you're saying there is like, do you have the kind of relationship with your supplier to where you guys trust each other? And I don't know, every now and then I'll suggest a book to read. And one that I read that was really helpful was called The Speed of Trust. And it's by not the guy who wrote 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey, but his son, Stephen Covey Jr. or Stephen Covey. I think his name is slightly different. I don't think he goes by Junior. I think he goes by Stephen R. Covey or something. But it's called The Speed of Trust. And basically, it's just about the fact that how much money and time we waste by just not trusting each other. And he said, he got this from Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett would go into a deal and say, can I trust you? And And, the proper answer to that, of course, is yes. You can trust me. And Warren Buffett would say, I do trust you. And just go on with a deal, and on a handshake, whatever, start doing business. Because here's the thing, you can write an elaborate contract with somebody, and they can break it. And then you can hire a team of lawyers, and they can hire a team of lawyers. And man, where do you really end up at the end of all that? Just in a big pool of blood, basically. It's like everybody's, whereas you can just start doing business and start trusting each other, and you'll learn pretty quickly, whether it was a mistake or not. And that can cost you, right? You trust somebody and they turns out they're not worthy of it. It can cost you something. But I mean, is it going to cost you any more than a team of lawyers and a year of like litigation and all of that? So there's really something to this idea of just, trying to trust each other, and trying to establish that and foster that in your relationships, whether it's with your vendors or your employees, other people on your team, consultants or whoever you work with. If you don't trust each other, it's not going to work out. And, so that's the thing, and that thing I just talked about of like, these small flaws, trying to make things work, just being a team player. Hey, I'm on your side. I want to help you. I don't want this to cost you money. I want my vendor to be profitable. I want them to make money selling me glass. I want them to sell me a lot of glass, and they want to sell me a lot of glass, So, hey, how can we do this? How can we make this work? Yeah, maybe this will work. Maybe it won't. But I'm just letting you know. And then when it does, when I do sell it, they're like, wow, check it out. This guy is, I don't know how many people do that. I'm guessing probably not more than 10%.
It's really hard in today's world. You get like C.R. Lawrence, where you don't even have a dedicated customer service rep. If you have a human contact that you're in regular contact with at a distributor, you can build up that trust, and you can pick up the phone and get, hey, Bob, this piece here, we've tried to make it work. We can't. And they believe you. With like somebody like, not trying to beat up C.R. Lawrence, but in today's internet world, one of the downsides is you never get that real connection where you can actually build that trust. Everything's online, and your customer service rep changes every day. So it's hard to build trust with somebody like C.R. Lawrence. It's easy. I've got a local glass fabricator that I buy the glass, sheets from. But if I need something, or they needed something from me, and they called me and say, hey, Greg, and you build up that trust, and that's huge. Yeah.
Truly. And you make a good point. I mean, you really can't build a relationship with a company. It has to be an individual, at the company. And I always look for that at a company. You try to find that person who I'm going to be doing business with, and it's not always easy because not every company has that as a core value. So sometimes you have to educate the company, and sometimes, I mean, these are companies that are old, like CRL. CRL has been around for decades and decades, and I'm not going to talk bad about them either. But we had a meeting one time, where we sat down, and it's like, I've got an NDA, so I can't tell you, what we talked about, but I can tell you that we did. We sat down and talked, and we couldn't. We couldn't come to an agreement because of this exact sort of thing. There was just, I tried to bring them to the light, and they weren't ready to come to the light, and it was just like, and I described this exact thing, the same exact thing I'm talking about here. And they just, they couldn't see it. But there wasn't a person on the team. I was dealing with, a person on the team there, and that person who was on the team couldn't get it. And if I could have brought him over, to see, see it my way, I think we could have had a beautiful relationship. And I am having, the relationship that I intended to have with them with a different company, and it's going great. I mean, it's like, as far as I'm concerned, it's like gangbusters, But it's that sort of a thing where, you know, it's just a quick back and forth, and it's like we're checking in with each other, and yeah, it does have to be an individual.
I'd like to add something.
All right, Keith.
First of all, I love anything Stephen Covey. You know, most of his stuff is rooted in empathy, and I'm a big fan of that. And just to kind of dovetail on what you're saying, any of the relationships that you currently have, or we currently have, I should say, once I really kind of saw the light on this empathy thing, I know that these problems that we're talking about are going to be ongoing issues. And so when I get a new rep or we're doing business with a new person, the first thing I do is I kind of do similar to that Buffett thing. You know, I want us to both be prosperous from doing business with each other. You know, do you feel the same way? And they're like, yes. I say, okay. The only way we're not is, God forbid, we have a situation. And so now you kind of give them the illusion of control, because people will literally die to preserve their own autonomy. Like if it's their idea, they'll break their own rules to make sure that they, you know, commit to what they said. And so I say, you know, should we have a situation, you know, what's the best course of action to make sure we get back onto the path that we were all intended? And you'd be surprised what people will be to do, because now they've given you the answer. And so now when there is a situation, you can deliver it back to them, say, you know, you said this is how you wanted to handle it. And I'm telling you, I have so many reps that break their company policies because that's what they told me they were going to do. And it's worked well for us, because you already know these are going to be issues. So trying to stay 1 or 2 steps ahead of it, you know, by asking them ahead of time is a massive 2 millimeter shift. Massive.
Yeah.
Yep. And also, Keith, I would say, when you say getting that relationship with that individual, when you say getting empathy and getting them to commit to how they're going to treat a problem, I think it's maybe some of the, I say smaller guys, don't be offended if it's 1 or 2 guy shop. I don't mean that in a bad way, but you guys have leverage too. You may listen to Keith and go, oh, Keith's got 1 million employees. He can throw his weight around. Of course, people are going to jump up and down for him. But I'm sure, Keith, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but I'm going to. Guys were small too. We were, you know, doing 1 shower a week, you know, that type of thing for a while. And we still built those relationships. So it really can get you out of some jams.
Hey, and I was hoping that I could carry a little bit more weight with my work, but you know, with our new architecture, we're playing in pools that we've never played before, and there's people I call, they don't know who that they could care less who I am and have no idea. So I know what you're saying, and I use that when I can, but it's not as often as you think. I'm trying to build up to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go into a new segment. You're just a shower door guy, right?
Yeah. Yes. It's starting over.
Shower door guy over here. He thinks he can,
yeah,
you know.
He can do architectural railing. Don't trust that guy.
Yes, that's it. I'm telling you, I hear that all the time.
That's what we say about storefront guys. Oh, you're gonna have your storefront guy do your shower door? Are
Exactly.
You sure?
That's what they say.
Are you building a Panera Bread, or are you doing a custom shower?
Yeah, that's so true.
Everyone loves their own brand.
Yeah, before we had our own fabrication, we were trying to work with Agalite. We did all Agalite, and the rep called me up one time and said, hey, guess what? You are our #1 shower customer. And I said, well, that's great, because we need to talk. You know, your #1 shower customer has some issues. I didn't really say it that way, but I'm like, okay, I got some weight to pull here. So met up with them, and we did a plant tour, and they took us on this tour, and there's this huge giant building, and they're like, oh, see the glass as far as the eye can see, that's all, you know, this multi-million-dollar project going to Dubai. I'm like, wow. So where do you do our shower doors? Oh, in the 3rd building, in the back, in the corner. I'm like, oh, great. My weight's not gonna push anything here.
You're our #1 shower buyer, but like shower doors are our number 12
on the list.
Yeah, you're #1 in our worst segment. Yeah, congratulations.
Okay. You are 2% of 1% of 0.5% of all our volume.
But congratulations on that.
Yeah. Movie.
They print off a little certificate on a laser printer.
Yeah.
Yeah. that is something, and it's like I think about listening to you all talk and thinking about me. I'm just like a single, we're just a little mom and pop shop. People are always surprised because we got like a really nice website and stuff, great reviews. So when people see what our operation is really like, they're just blown away. They can't believe how tiny we really are. But we do a lot of shower doors. We do a lot of heavy glass, and because that's all that we do, and it's kind of on the higher end, so it tends to be, we're a contender as far as buying, at least for our area. I mean, we're probably doing more shower doors than the big companies, the bigger shops in our area, just because it's all we do. So I mean, you can get some leverage, and it's not just the amount of glass that we buy, but it's that I try to make it so easy for them to sell it to us. I try to really be appreciative. I try to be really polite. I try to really make a friendship. And when they make a mistake, I'm very gracious and I'm very forgiving. And like that goes a long way, because people, when people are messing up, they feel, I don't know, when I'm messing up, I know how I feel. I feel stupid. I feel inadequate. I feel like I'm under the microscope. And man, I'm in a vulnerable position. I don't want someone kicking me or pouring salt in my wounds, when I'm down. And I don't want to treat anybody like that either. So it's like that goes a long way. So it's these little things. Money is just one thing, sales are one thing, but sending over orders that are legible, that they can read, that and you're not always going back and forth saying, hey, that's not what I said, or clear communication. When you're doing like deal after deal after deal after deal, and they're going through without a hiccup, and that 10th one is like, hey, I got a little scratch here, it's gonna have to get remade, or hey, this never showed up, or whatever. That's really manageable, especially when you're polite about it. So you can position yourself without being big by just being a bigger person.
Well, think of it in terms of the tile guys you work with. What do you think of the tile guy that doesn't say anything? You get out to the job, the buttress walls aren't parallel. They're like this because it was much easier to come square off the walls, glass tile everywhere, negative slope. And you're like, God, if they had just asked, I could have kept this from being a disaster. Versus the tile guy who maybe he's worked with you once and maybe there's an issue, a curb isn't sloped right or something. He goes, hey, what can I do next time to make this easier? What can I do so the glass goes in better? You're like, oh my God, where'd you come from? You're like the best tile guy ever. And then when somebody asks, hey, do you know a tile guy? Who's the first guy you mentioned? The guy who was always helpful and wanted to work together as a partner.
Yeah, exactly. He might not actually be the best tile guy, right? He might not be the most skilled tile guy, but the tile guy that shows up,
Mm-hmm.
the guy that fixes his mistakes or is willing to learn, and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a partnership we've developed with one tile guy over the last 12 years that we trust so much that whenever, and we've just referred him so much, and he takes such good care of his customers. Now, when I have a cracked tile, he's, Greg, if you get a cracked tile, call me, I'll come take care of it. Not his jobs. So that's the type of partnership you can develop where I can call him and go, hey, we cracked the tile. Could be the thin set underneath. I don't know. He goes, just let me know. Just give me the name of the customer, and I'll see if they've got tile, they got spare tile, see what their grout situation is. And then I'll let you know when I'm going to take it out so you can come get the door out ahead before. And you're like, he's worth $1 million.
Absolutely. Wow. You got me thinking here. Do I have a tile guy like that? That is.
I think of a tile guy that you've sent a lot of work to, and there's no financial arrangement. We just like him and trust him. And we all say the same thing. This is a guy, blah, blah, blah. Everybody, we don't have a dog in the hunt. We've had customers who like him. We think you'll like him, but if you don't, it's okay. There's no financial arrangement. And they like that because we're not. And then they go, and they love, he's just terrific. Customers love him. And because we've been so good to him, he's like, you let me know when you got a cracked tile. You guys are just awesome. And that's it. You develop that type of relationship. It pays different dividends. Now I don't have to worry about, okay, who was the original tile guy? Oh, well, we got mad at him. He's gone. He's not coming back to the job, right? We've all heard that one. There's no way I'll get him back. And this guy's just so good. Where'd you get the tile? Da, da, da. He'll even run to the tile, store if it's one of the box stores or whatever, pick it up. I mean, he's just worth his weight in gold.
Yeah.
And we don't break a lot of tiles, maybe 4 times a year, but
Yeah, right.
He's thrilled and he bails me out big time.
Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah, and that's it. That's kind of thinking outside of the box too, because I mean it's easy, especially when you get busy, for me to get kind of tunnel vision. It's like, okay, man, busy. Gotta get this done, and I'm thinking about customers, made promises to, right? I've got customers that have paid me some money already, I've got to get their job done. And it's easy not to think about those random people, employees at the companies that are supplying me, or people in other trades that we might be able to make a mutually beneficial relationship with. So those are really important things to be able to think about, but you have to keep your head, and have your wits about you, kind of in the heat of battle, to stop and think, and remember those things. So those are important things, important relationships that can be easily overlooked. So thanks for sharing that. That's really helpful. So getting back to the scratch glass thing, it was interesting. I kind of wanted to go in that direction. It just kind of went there naturally. So the thing about polishing out a scratch is that I got this tool from Bowl, whatever. They've got a scratch removal tool, and it's awesome. It's like really expensive. I think I'm gonna be offering it for sale. Somebody wants to buy one at a discount. Anyway, no, it's a great tool, and but there's like a real learning curve to I guess I think, oh yeah, I'll get this tool, and when I've got a scratch, I'll just buff it out, no big deal. And it's like, yeah, well, that's true, but there's you have to learn how to use the tool. I mean, it's like, it's not, you just don't just pick it up and do it. And so unless you have somebody who can do that, and it sounds like Shannon has somebody who's got some skills to do that. Man, I just thought, even if it's not going to really save me any money, because mostly when I get a scratched piece of glass, somebody else scratched it. It wasn't me. I don't scratch glass. Well, maybe now and then, but usually it's the other guy that scratched it. So I'm not going to save any money, but I could save some time, if I've got a little scratch, or especially if it's something that you didn't notice until you installed it.
We use the Innovative Polishing Systems, IPS. I think they're out of Florida. And it was kind of like Shannon, we were going through HMI Cardinal probably 8-9 years ago, and that's what they were using. So we got that system, and the rep actually offered to come train us. So one of those good situations where we bought the system and he came and he trained us on it, because I don't want to call it auto body work, but there's a lot of similarities. You can't just go in with, hog out a scratch. You'll have this giant eyesore, good shiner, looks like somebody got punched in the eye. And, you got to step it down. There's some of the buffing pads we have are this big around, looks like you're doing automotive work. So, it really is a skill. You're exactly right. But find a rep who's willing to come and demonstrate it for you, because you're going to be buying their, polish remover or whatever you want to call it, the paste and their pads. So this rep came out. It was really helpful. Huge difference. Makes it. Go ahead.
I think that helped with us too, because Glassweld is kind of in our backyard. They're in Bend, Oregon, which is about maybe 2 hours away. And so we've actually had the rep come out a couple of times, and they offered, because we'll have an employee start doing something else, and we want someone else to, step in and start doing the polishing, get more hands-on. One of the things I don't know if Glassweld is the only one, but it's very different system, because you don't polish out the scratch, you fill in the scratch. And so that was really kind of unique. And I'm not sure how many places do that. So you're not as likely to get the fisheye because you're not removing material, you're pushing and heating this material into the scratch. Kind of.
Does it get foggy like a car windshield when they repair it, or does it look good?
It starts with a fog as you're heating it up, but then there's like a final polish. Yeah, it's a really interesting process. If you get a chance, they're always at the glass shows. If you get a chance to see one of their demonstrations, I'm sure they can describe it much better than I can, but I haven't seen anyone else who does it that way. It's kind of like when they're repairing your car window and they fill in the chip. It's kind of that sort of a process.
Do you feel you can get deeper? Because that's the issue that we have. I'm sure others have as well. There's a certain scratch you can get out, no problem. And then it gets to a certain depth, you're like, forget it, remake the glass.
Exactly. I mean, it still takes way more skill to do a deep scratch than a shallower scratch, but it is more likely to be able to because you're filling it.
Okay.
It's
I'm gonna have to.
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we're happy, but
yeah, totally different process too, because as you're using a regular system, or I think the usual, they're telling you to like not get it too hot. This, you actually heat it up. The heating is what causes it to kind of meld with the glass. It's, yeah, I'm sure I'm not saying it right at all, but.
Have you ever used their sanding screens they have, the different grit pads you can put on?
does that work with it, Shannon, or is that a separate system?
Not in, I
Glassworld
don't know that our system has that. Does Glassworld have that? We generally use the not screens, more of a buffing.
Yeah, the buffing pads.
Yeah.
But you do have the ones with the screens, you can use different grits to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's different ones. I mean, for deeper scratches you use, because I think the tool that I've got it's the same. It's the same technology you're describing.
Yeah.
So you have to get the glass up to a certain temperature. Mm-hmm. And you actually you actually use like one of those
laser temperature gauge.
Temperature laser. Yeah.
You get it into a certain range and then it starts to work.
Yeah.
So I know it's the same technology that you're describing, and so there's kind of the finest pad that you use for just the more superficial scratches, but they've got some that are more aggressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think of myself as being a pretty skilled craftsman, but yeah, I mean, there's something to it. And if it's a thing like, if it's just me and I get a piece of glass that I wanted to polish, it comes in once every 3 months, it's like I haven't practiced it for 3 months, so it's like I'm like relearning it every time. So the great thing about having something like that is if you've got some employees and there's some downtime, which there always is. I mean, you could have somebody doing that in their downtime, just practicing. It would be well worth it. Especially like I say, I mean, once you install something, if it's scratched and it's installed, it's definitely worth polishing.
Well, but Chris, I mean, when you talk about polishing something horizontal or vertically instead of that's like Zen master polishing at that point. That, I mean, you better get practicing if you want to do the vertical polish. That's a tough
I see what you mean, because you really can't, because you really want to have kind of a pool of water that you're working in, right?
That's a whole nother skill. I mean, people can do it for sure, but that's next level stuff.
Okay, I'm going to jump off if you let me on a scratch. Mirror, backside, paint silver gone. Anybody got anything to do that, or you just junk it?
We tried a mirror silvering spray paint and it did not work, but we tried something. So just, if anybody's found anything, I'd also like to know.
You tried it though, right?
Yep, it was not good.
We tried pencil. Pencil's the best thing we've tried, believe it or not.
Pencil. Okay.
Pencil.
Just like a regular number 2 pencil.
Yes, pencil. I'm not saying it works, but it has worked a couple of times.
Never heard of that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I got one of those, shiny silver ink pens, like metallic.
Yeah.
I tried that. It didn't really work.
So nobody's got it. Boy.
I've used a gum wrapper before.
What brand? I mean, let's be specific.
Yeah.
Was this
It was
Juicy fruit.
extra.
juicy fruit?
man.
Yeah, juicy fruit, right. It worked. I mean, it worked.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
close-
sometimes those things are just so light that you can barely see them anyway. So just anything might, get you by.
Okay, so the best things we have are gum wrapper and pencil lead. That's pretty depressing.
What? No duct tape? Come on.
Okay, the next one's a little easier. Hopefully, you're doing like oil rub bronze, J trim, mirror trim. You cut it, get the silver exposed. We bought at the glass show a long time ago some kind of oxidizing or something that would turn that. You dab it on. It was like almost like a nail polish, and boom, it would change the color to like a bronze. That silver would turn bronze. So you get that silver cut. Maybe the guy took the cut too fast and the blade chipped just a hair. And you got oil rub bronze, and I know people try Sharpies and stuff, but that doesn't usually work very well. Or you get a barn door header with a scratch in it, and it's oil rub bronze or matte black, and you want to get matte black's a little easier, but oil rub bronze, it seems like you can't really get that oil rub bronze to come out without looking like you're covering up a scratch. Nobody knows anything about
It's a
that.
rub mark or is it a scratch?
A scratch. It would be a scratch, yeah, not a rub mark. Normally, mostly on like the J trim when you cut it and you get a sharp edge. We used to use it on storefront when we were in the storefront business before we decided to run something, do something that made money. So the storefront, you'd take that cut edge of the dark bronze and we'd run this. There's like a little bottle. Well, I know I'm talking like I'm crazy, and you just run it on the silver and it would actually change the color. It would be like some kind of chemical reaction. It was good. It was really good.
No,
But you
So we
can't
ran
remember what it was?
No, there's no label on the bottle's long gone, and we're all scratching our heads because we saw it at the glass show maybe 10 years ago. And we're like, this stuff is great. Of course, don't write down the name. Don't do anything smart like that. So
I'm gonna have to do some research on that and see if I can figure out what you're talking about, because it sounds amazing.
yeah, I mean, because that'll get you out of it. You cut that one piece that you got left of J trim or something, and you need to get it, and then it's got that silver showing on it.
If a bottle lasts 10 years, maybe they went out of business.
The product lasts too
Business
long.
model.
They put too much in the bottle.
Yeah, they should have made it evaporate, expiration on it or something.
Gum up.
Put it in like one of those perfume bottles. It's got a big, huge, like it's only got, that much space in it. Hey, has anybody ever tried a green scrubby pad?
Yes.
For
Oil
Talk
rub
about
bronze.
it, Tim.
On
For
the oil
what
rub
purpose?
bronze.
okay, go ahead.
Like on a header, oil rub bronze header, if there's a rub mark you normally can't get off,
Mhm.
you take that green
Like a Scotch-Brite.
Scotch
Like a
Brite
Scotch pad, okay.
Yeah.
and go
But not
with
like
it.
Mr. Eraser?
No, and just go with don't go up and down, just go with
Right, go with the grain.
and
Mhm.
it comes right off.
Nice.
But do not use that on glass. Do not use that on your glass.
No.
Here's the blue one.
Blue.
For the oil rubber bronze, the bio clean also works great for remove the scratches from the aluminum.
BioClean.
Yes, works just with like the wipe with the paper towel, and works really great.
Scratches or rub marks?
Scratches.
Okay.
Yeah, oil rubber bronze aluminum. Yeah,
BioClean.
yeah.
Yeah, the BioClean
Yeah.
we use, we've used it many times, but I've never used it for that. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's good. I was surprising too.
Yeah, you wouldn't think it would do that.
Just
Yeah.
going,
Does it stay
yeah.
long
when
enough
I-
to get out of the house?
Yeah. long enough to cash the check.
Yeah, you know,
Speaking of,
oh, go ahead, Christina.
speaking of long enough to get out of the house, since the conversation last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, we started on some customers where it's like something simple we can draw up in like on the iPad in our system. We started selling shower doors like on site, and
Hey,
people are
what?
really happy.
What?
No, Christina,
Nice.
it was me and you against the world. No.
No, I'm sorry. But I will say, like, we had customers say, like, oh, we're having somebody else come out, but I mean, we're fine with this price and you've been great. So here's our card. And it's like, yay, no back and forth, no more of this. Like, and it's not, I will say it's not for every job. Like, I don't want to push anybody, but for those customers who are in a hurry, who have something simple, who know what they're willing to spend, it makes a lot of sense. So
Nice.
that's been really fun. So good
Wow.
suggestions, guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Congrats.
on these calls, learning stuff, pushing the envelope.
Mhm.
Way to go. You get an A+ today.
Thanks.
And so what's for dinner? I mean, this could be a cooking show right here. It looks like you're making some pico de gallo.
We got a coupon, so we're doing some chicken couscous, something Mediterranean. I don't know. My husband.
That looks good. So if you're listening like on the podcast, you need to totally like check out the YouTube video for this, because Christina is like cooking and it looks like a cooking show. This is great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, just
So,
going back a little bit on the
ahead.
glass scratches. When you guys have like a shower guard glass and you need to buff it out a small scratch, what happens to the shower with the guard protection? Do you lose it or it
Yes.
stays?
You're talking about trying to buff out a scratch on the shower guard?
Yes, correct.
It'll go away.
No,
The shower
okay.
guard.
The guard.
It'll come
Okay,
off.
thank you. Yeah.
Our fabricator recommended using a Mr. Clean Magic Eraser for that, but I don't think it's going to be very effective on scratches. I think that's mostly for like suction cup marks and things like that.
Mhm.
Got it. Got it. All right. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and kind of getting back to the even like the scratch on like metal, a header, or whatever. I mean, if it's like mauled, I mean, you're not even gonna try, right? I mean, it's not gonna sell. But I mean, if you got just something really light and superficial, I mean, it may not take very much just to make it, less noticeable. And nothing's perfect, right? I mean, people want things to be perfect, but it's materials. I mean, it's building materials you're working with, aluminum and glass and brass and stuff like that. So I mean, I've never heard that about the BioClean. I know that I have I have a supplier who sometimes when I buy something oil rub bronze, they'll send one of those green pads. I think it's wardrobe specialties.
WBS does.
Yeah, they'll have it in the kit, and it's like, yeah, if you've got a scratch, use this.
Yeah,
So-
but the BioClean will work for aluminum, all right? Anodize it. I'm not sure for the painted one.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
I've used Acrosolve on some very light, fine scratches. Just a very, very surface scratch. Not really digging into the metal or anything.
What was that you said?
Acrosolve. It comes in a green can. I think CR Lawrence used to sell it. I don't know if they do anymore. I get it from like an auto parts distributor now. It comes in like a 6-pack.
Okay, you're gonna have to spell it for us.
ACRYSOLV.
Acrosolve.
Sounds like a
Yeah.
spelling bee.
Yeah.
Acrosolve. You didn't repeat the word afterwards. You're
Yeah,
disqualified.
Yeah, that's it. Go home. Sit down.
So what all is that good for?
So it's good for light scratches on metal. Like I said, like just a surface scratch, nothing that's digging in too deep. It's also good for, like if you're using mastic, putting up a mirror or something, you get a little mastic on the wall or the countertop, a little bit of that, and it comes right off. Doesn't disturb, the paint or anything like that. It just makes it look like it never happened.
Oh, yeah, this is the one that you helped me with.
Yeah, that's the one I gave you a can, right?
Greg's trying to show us.
Yeah.
I was. Sorry, I'm off my thing now. It was here just a minute ago. Sorry, you've highlighted me and I've got nothing to show you.
Okay, you're on the spot. Okay, I'll move on here.
Pressure's
All right, hold on.
on.
I need to do this without touching the. Is that?
Oh, okay. Here, let me do that again.
Is that it or no?
Acrosol.
That's probably the same stuff. The can I get looks a little different, but I think that's pretty much the same product. Yeah.
How about this?
Let me see here. Where you at?
Acrosol.
I don't see you.
Let me see here. Where are we? Oh, okay, here we go. Let's do this. Let
Maybe
me
I
spotlight. Okay, so show us again.
Let's see, where am
That's
I?
the stuff, huh?
There we go.
Okay.
Back it
Yeah,
up.
similar stuff. Here, I'll go
Acrosol
grab-
solvent.
everybody's holding up their iPhones to the camera. It's funny. All
I
right.
can't believe it's so blurry.
You really have to watch.
we can
this.
see
You
it.
can't just listen because it's so entertaining to watch. Yeah. I'll bet you all that stuff is probably very similar.
All
I
right.
can find it on Amazon.
Okay.
For 50
We touched on
bucks.
something I want to ask about.
Okay, great.
All right. So shower guard, we have suction cup marks. They also, the guy said, so when he's taking a shower, it starts to steam up and he can see the, you can see.
Oh, sorry, I just muted you.
Yep. We'll never know.
Oh, no.
Can't hear.
Oh, no.
Brad,
You're on mute.
Oh,
You're on.
It's
There you
totally
go.
my fault. It's totally
Damn.
my fault. Say everything you just said again.
okay. So I have a customer has shower guard glass, and he's taking a shower. He sees suction cup marks in the glass, and he also sees some lines, probably from the rollers in the tempering process. I've tried cleaning it, and I've been told to try sparkle. Does anybody know anything about that? Any comments?
I haven't used Sparkle on shower guard, but I have used it on C10, and it works. C10 is Cardinal
10.
Yeah, it worked great on that. It took a little elbow grease, but it got the fingerprints. It was silicone fingerprints that we had on it, but.
And then you reapply. What do you do after that, Brian? Do you reapply the coating afterwards? So you're stripping it?
It didn't get down that deep. It just took off the very surface.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking that there was impurities on the suction cup and it got baked into the glass, but I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't seem to have a lot of that. You guys have a lot of that? I mean, occasionally it seems like you get a customer who's like, I took a shower, now I can see all these marks or something, but it's very rare for us.
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty rare for us too. And this one just happens to be a low iron shower guard customer. So, of course, it's like the most expensive glass.
They spent a fortune.
They did. And so their expectations are also up there, right? So I do think we are going to end up having to replace that, and we're going to have to eat the labor for it, but them's the breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Part
you
of the
might as
deal.
well try the sparkle then, and you could try
BioClean.
6,000 grit, and yeah, and Magic Eraser. I'm sure you've already done. You might as well run through the whole kit. And see if that
Yeah, if you're gonna
works.
have to replace it, you might as
Yeah.
well.
Is
Right.
it shower? Is it shower guard, Christina, or a different coating?
It's shower guard.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah. That's
And
one of the
we might
reasons
as
we.
well, because they're down the road. I mean, they're not
Yeah.
far, you know.
Yeah.
Well, and shower guard is going to replace the glass for you, right?
Our fabricator is.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's a great thing. The great thing about shower guard is there's guarantee on it. So, but you still have to do the work.
Oh, he's
So-
got
Oh,
it.
hey, look,
Nice.
there
Here it is here.
I'm gonna spotlight.
See, I'm gonna
this
take
for
I'm
everyone.
gonna take a picture of that.
Acrosol.
Acrosol.
Nice.
So it's kind of an oily product.
It's not really oily, no. Crest Auto, that's where I get it from.
You're saying light scratches on oil rub bronze.
Yeah.
And are you there after it all dries out and everything? Is it one of those things, down the road that goes back to normal, or you don't know?
It dries pretty quick. The product doesn't leave like a film.
Okay.
So it dries pretty quick, and it seems to hold. I mean, it seems to stay, kind of renews the integrity, I guess would be the way to say it. It works on kind of what we're talking about too, as far as like marks on the glass, cut marks, or marks that you can't get off with just glass cleaner. And I mean, it works good for that stuff too. It's a pretty good product.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much. I'm just hearing about this for the first time. Oh, look at that.
Ooh.
There's a
You guys
Yeah.
got that?
Yeah, I see it. It's like a similar product, Acrosol. It's not exactly the same thing, but I'm sure it's probably a similar formula.
Have you tried soft scrub with a non-scratch sponge?
Is that a question for Christina?
Yeah, on the shower guard. Is she busy baking?
I haven't personally. I think Brad's the one who went out to that job, and he used a Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. I think he also did a really quick coat of Ceramibrite to
I
just see
did.
if that worked.
I used Ceramibrite on it because actually we had a case about a year ago, the same situation. The guy could see all these little marks on his glass when it would steam up. Well, it was all the adhesive for the corks.
Mhm.
And, and we tried so many cleaners, nothing came off. And I went out with Ceramibrite for cooktops. Hey, it worked great. It took it right off. Took it right off.
All right, here's the next product.
Well, that's like a glass cooktop cleaner.
Yes, it is.
Gotcha.
It's like a white paste.
Yeah.
I think it works great.
There you go. That's the third product of the night now.
Is that it? Wyman glass cooktop.
That's what we use in our kitchen, at least for our glass
Yep.
top. And most homeowners already have it. Some anyway, I guess. So they're really happy to hear about this, and it's good. It's a really good product.
It is. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. That's great.
But shower guard recommends the best cleaning is soft scrub cleanser with all-purpose Scotch-Brite non-scratch sponge.
It's pretty tough stuff if it stands up to that. So they're recommending soft scrub and Scotch-Brite.
And a green
Scotch-Brite.
A green one, huh?
A green one?
A blue one.
A blue one. Yeah.
A non-scratch.
Yeah.
Green for sure. But so now, Tim, you sell a lot of that shower guard, don't you?
Yes. And I even let mine go for 30 days to see if it would work. And I cleaned it with the what they just said to do, and it came clean. So
Interesting.
Fantastic.
Okay, I have another question. Since we're kind of on this topic. I don't really do this as a service, but I do have a particular customer I'm going to do it for. Cultured marble. When you remove a frame shower, the cultured marble has a yellow streak on it from where the frame was located.
Tan line.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's tan lines. So, years ago, when this caught me off guard, I went to the extreme of sanding it down, taping everything off, and using a epoxy paint on the surface. Turned out beautiful. Okay. But does anybody encounter this, and do they offer a service maybe to refinish something like that, or?
Not in our, and it's been a while since we've run into it. Most people are tearing them out at that point, but we use the people who did the culture marble will come back and put down like what I'd call a batten strip. It's a molding about that wide, and it's rounded, flat and rounded, and that just applies right over the top. And then we go back and measure and install the shower door after that.
Are you talking about like just a real thin sheet over the top?
It's like a molding. I was in the cabinet business where a batten molding would be something that would be generally would be like 1.5 inches wide to cover a seam of some kind on wood.
Oh,
so it's just flat. It's just flat and rounds down, almost like a bullnose.
Yeah.
Bullnose on a tile, only about 1.5 inches wide, and it just comes in strips. And they use it sometimes to cover their own joints because the culture marble is only so tall.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
So we'd say to people, hey, this is what you're going to have a tan line when this comes out, and this is what it's going to look like. And well, will it ever catch up? Well, in about 10 or 15 years. And so then of course they say that's terrible. And then we say, well, and the local culture marble place is used to that type of thing. So they come out and put down the batten strips, cover it up, and then we make the shower door work from that.
Okay. I like that suggestion. Sure. I haven't offered that. I just usually tell people we're going to put the glass right on top of the tan line, and that kind of camouflages the situation.
Yeah, sometimes you're right. They'll just live with it, and you do channel and cover up most of it.
And we'll do like a threshold on the bottom under the door that covers up that line.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Dad, I don't know if I told you this yet, but we have a customer who did not like the tan line and decided to retile their whole shower after all the glass has been cut.
Ooh.
Yay! So we have that to contend with tomorrow. Yay!
All right. There's always something.
There's always something.
Hate to break the news to you in front of the whole world, Dad, but
yeah. Now that it's the end of the show.
It's just so relevant.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned next week. Will the glass be replaced?
Hey, Chris, that conversation could have been way worse.
I know, right? You never know what's going to happen. It's a live show, folks.
That's right.
Awesome.
Great.
I'm sure we still fit. All of our customers tell us it won't be a problem. It's going to be installed exactly the same.
Same way. The tile guy promised. The tile guy promised.
It'll be.
Oh my gosh. The worst.
Awesome. Well, that's great. Well, we're out of time, but we sure covered a lot of stuff here. So thanks for all the suggestions. I mean, once again, I learned stuff. I always do. So thanks for bringing it, the info, and hope you have a great week.
All right. Well, I appreciate all of you.
Yeah, same here.
Same here.
Good night, everyone.
Definitely. Thank you, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
See you guys next week.
See ya.